Hello everyone, welcome to Social Science class. Today we are beginning chapter 3 in history, Nazism and the rise of Hitler. Now the question arises, what is Nazism? Nazism is the name given to an ideology in which Adolf Hitler believed. He believed that there is no equality in human races, but there is a racial hierarchy. And such type of ideology led to the killing of thousands of people in Germany. So let's see how this story begins. How Hitler came to power. The story begins with the World War I, which is also known as the Great War. This war took place between 1914 to 1918. In this war, about 30 countries directly or indirectly participated. There were mainly two alliances which were given the name Central Powers and the Allied Powers. Central Powers was led by Germany. Then other important countries were Austria-Hungary and Ottoman Empire, which is known as Turkey in the present day. Allied powers included Britain, France, Russia, and later on USA also joined in 1970. In the beginning, US did not want to join the war. But what the Germany did? Germany sent two of the merchant ships of USA. And that's why USA had to enter into the World War I. With the entry of US, the Allied powers became very powerful. And ultimately, in November 1918, this Central Powers led by Germany was defeated. So in this way, the Empire of Germany came to an end. As Germany was defeated in the World War I, its king, the Emperor Wilhelm II, he fled away from the country. And as he fled away, it gave the chance to the political parties or the parliamentary parties to take the power and recast the polity. So what all the political parties did, that they all met at Weimar. Weimar is a city in Germany, right? Then they drafted a new democratic constitution. Means now Germany from a monarchy turned into a democracy. And in this democracy, elections took place. And in these elections, deputies were elected just like we had the MPs. In this way, deputies were elected to the German parliament, which was known as Reichstag. You must memorize this word. Reichstag was the German parliament. And these elections took place on the basis of universal adult franchise, in which even the women were also given the right to vote. Because Germany was lost in the World War I, the Weimar Republic was forced to sign a treaty or an agreement. This agreement came to be known as the Treaty of Versailles. This treaty was very humiliating or insulting for Germany. Germany had to sign it because it did not have any other choice. According to this treaty, Germany lost its overseas colonies. You must understand what are the overseas colonies. Just like India was an overseas colony of Britain, likewise Germany also had number of overseas colony. So it had to leave them. 13% of its territories 75% of iron and 26% of coal, which was taken by the Allied powers. Then Allied powers also demilitarized Germany. So its military was reduced up to that levels because they were afraid that in future again Germany can become more powerful and can again take the revenge. So they demilitarized Germany. Then Germany was also forced to pay 6 billion pound as the compensation. It was said the Allied powers held Germany responsible for the World War I. They said that in this war, because we were involved and we had to spend lot of money, so you have to pay. Means Germany was forced to pay all that sum of money which was spent mainly by Britain and France. So they added a clause which is termed as war guilt clause. Means Germany was made guilty of the World War I and was forced to pay 6 billion pounds as the war compensation. Not only this, the Allied armies also occupied Rhineland. Plenty of this. That if they are not able to pay it served as the guarantee that Germany have to pay the 6 billion pounds as the war compensation. The First World War had a great impact on the European countries. These countries were the creditors, means they were very rich countries. From creditors they became debtors, means the countries which used to give the loans. Now after the World War, the situation became like this that some of the countries had to take the loans from other countries, from the creditor to debtors. Soldiers came to be placed above civilians. As you all know, if any war goes on, more importance is given to soldiers than the civilians. So it was considered soldiers are the most important people of the country. Politicians and publicists laid stress on the need for men to be strong, aggressive and more masculine. They wanted that more and more men should be recruited to army. Means men should be like that can be recruited or that can be appointed in the army, that they can fight for the nations. Then aggressive war propaganda took place. So it was set in the minds of the people that the war is the only solution of all the problems. And even the media that time glorified trench life. Trenches are generally made in the war fields. There they dig the land and they hide themselves inside and they fight. So media glorified this type of how brave these people are fighting like this. But actual situation was different. Sometimes the soldiers had to remain the dead bodies in the trenches. So they were living a miserable life. The Weimar Republic was not welcomed by all the people. Many people in Germany were not happy with Weimar Republic. Even they mockingly made fun of the politicians of the Weimar Republic by calling them November criminals. There was a group of people who wanted to establish a type of government which was there in Russia, means a type of communist government that was known as the Spartacist League, and they revolted against the Weimar Republic. So Weimar Republic had to cope with the Spartacist League, and for this they took help of free corps. Now what are free corps? Free corps are actually the war veterans, means the retired soldiers of the First World War. So they were used to suppress this revolt which was taken by the Spartacist League. Then the economic crisis took place in 19 1923. This is also very important. You must learn it. How it happened? Germany was forced to pay war reparations. So most of the war reparation it paid in the form of gold. So as a result, its gold reserves started depleting. So there was a big depletion in its gold reserves. So there was a time came that they were not able to pay the money which they were supposed to pay according to the Treaty of Versailles. So when the Germany refused to pay, so France occupied Ruhr. Now remember, Ruhr is a coal field, means coal mining area, to claim their coal. So the Ruhr was taken by the France, means he claimed to take the Ruhr. So Germany retaliated it, but not with that much power. And in place of that, to cope up with this situation, Germany started printing paper currency. At that time, it was the German mark is the name of the currency of Germany. So, in a big amount, the paper currency was printed, and that led to hyperinflation. Now, what is hyperinflation? Hyperinflation is a situation in which the prices of the goods start rising rapidly and the value of the money starts falling. It is just like this, means taking in one bag full of money and bringing things only in the pocket. So this thing happened in the year 1923. After the economic crisis of 1923, USA brought Dave's plan that gave some sort of relief to the Germans. So between the year 1924 to 1928, there was some sort of stability. But in the year 1929, there was a fall of Wall Street Exchange. It was a share market. And 24th October 1920, in one day itself, around 13 million shares were sold. And after the coming years, between this 1929 to 1932, the national income of USA fell down up to 50%. So, the most of the European countries were dependent on the loans which were given by the USA. So, as the economy of USA fell down, it had great impact on the European countries as well, and it has worst impact on Germany. By 1932, industrial production in Germany reduced to 40% of the 1929 level. So number of factories shut down. So what was the result of this? What was the outcome? The outcome was that it resulted in the rapid increase in the unemployment. That around 6 million people became unemployed. And the scene of the streets in Germany was that people could be seen with the placards in their hands and asking for work. They were ready to do any sort of work to earn the money. So this was a condition of totally despair, a hopelessness, and many of the youth even took to the criminal activity. So all these things set the stage for the Hitler to come to power. There were some inherent defects of the Weimar Republic as well. It means that there were certain weaknesses of the Weimar Republic that led to the rise of Hitler. First was the proportional representation. It means that there were number of parties in Germany, and these parties, they were allotted the number of seats in the Reichstag or the German parliament on the basis of the percentage of vote obtained by any party. So it so happened that almost all the parties receiving lump sum same percentage of votes and same number of seats in the parliament. And because of that, none of the party was able to gain the majority of seats in the parliament. And that's why the parties used to make the coalition or a group to form the government. So there was always an unstable government in the Weimar Republic. Then another was the Article 48, which gave the president the powers to impose emergency and suspend civil rights and rule by decree. Means without even discussing with the parliamentarians, the president has the power to dismiss the parliament or the government by using Article 48. And the president had a liberal use of this Article 48. And this Weimar Republic saw around 20 different cabinets only in the average of 239 days. So frequently the cabinets were changed. So we can say there was political instability. That's all in today's lesson. Thank you and have a nice day.